What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Awesemo channel, talking some prize picks college football ahead of week 7. We are going to focus on Thursday and Friday's games. We'll hit up the main slate later in the week. But before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. But without further ado, let's head over to prize picks and take a look at some action for the next 2 days. First things first, we're going to start with some passing yardage props, and we'll begin with the Thursday night slate. There's a really interesting prop here in Justin Tomlin, the quarterback for Georgia Southern, sitting at 169.5 passing yards. This is one where we want to look at the under. First and foremost, Georgia Southern is a triple option offense. They've been down in a lot of games this year, so their pass rate has actually been at 37%, but that is typically a little higher than where we see Georgia Southern. In this particular game, they are 3-point underdogs to a strong South Alabama team in a game with a 51-point total. South Alabama has played excellent defense to start the year. They're only allowing 171.5 passing yards per game, and that is coming to non-triple option offenses. We look at Justin Tomlin throughout his career. He's only been above this passing yardage number twice in his entire career. Both did come this year against Louisiana and Troy and come from behind situations. But ultimately, you were dealing with a lot of efficiency in those games and not volume. What it comes down to, the volume is just not there for Justin Tomlin to sustainably hit these marks on a week-to-week basis. He projects for just under 100 passing yards for us, where he is currently sitting at 169.5 on PrizePicks. There also is the risk of him getting benched after he has struggled with turnovers this year. That would make the under a strong play here as well. Going to our second option, we're going to stick with passing yards, and we are going to move to Austin On for North Texas. It's a situation where Austin On has now beat out Jace Rutter for the starting job at quarterback for North Texas. His prize pick sits at 138.5 passing yards per game right now, indicating that there are some job security issues here. There very well may be, but On has worked clearly ahead of Rutter of late, and he actually started their most recent game and played the entire time. This game has immense shootout potential against Marshall. Marshall is going to be an 11-point favorite here, but the game has a 66.5-point total overall. You look at how North Texas plays, they are one of the fastest teams in the entire country, running 86 plays per game, passing the ball 47% of the time. Raw volume is very much in favor of Austin On in this contest. In his first game where he saw all opportunity, we saw On pass for over 300 yards. And that was in a game against Missouri where they took their foot off the gas a little bit and did not need to throw with immense passing volume. Again, this is a team that is playing at one of the fastest paces in the entire country. We have On as our median projection at 2 over on Austin On's 138.5 passing yards. Moving to rushing props. There's a couple really interesting spots here. I think you can take advantage of a prop on Travis Dye over 92.5 rushing yards against Cal without CJ Verdell. But even so, I think there's some better options here in the run game. And one is Garrett Schrader, former Mississippi State quarterback, taking on Clemson. Now, it's a very difficult matchup for Garrett Schrader, but just looking at the overall math on this prop, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Garrett Schrader has now taken over for Tommy DeVito as the team's starting quarterback, and they are not splitting time whatsoever. Garrett Schrader has carry counts of 16, 16, and 29 in his 3 most recent games, eclipsing 135 yards in each of his last 2. Now, that came against Wake Forest and Florida State, 2 weaker opponents than Clemson. But what this breaks down to, with Garrett Schrader and his prop at 54.5 yards, he would have to average 3.3 yards per carry on 16 carries to reach this number. If he sees anything over that, as long as he's averaging more than 3.3 yards per carry, he's eclipsing the rushing prop here. Now, again, Clemson's defense hasn't been as strong as it was last year. They are playing slow, but Garrett Schrader is the focal point of this offense. Again, 16, 16, and 23 rush attempts in their 3 most recent games. Also gets it done as a scrambler. This is a pure volume play, hitting the over on Garrett Schrader, 54.5 rushing yards. Last one, we're going to go to another mispriced player for North Texas. It is lead back DeAndre Torrey, over 88.5 rushing yards. What this comes down to, again, partially due to the fact that North Texas is such a fast team. They are averaging, again, 86 plays per game, but then you have DeAndre Torrey seeing an immense workload for this North Texas team. In his last 3 games, he's carried the ball 24, 26, and 23 times. Marshall is allowing 241 rushing yards per game to opposing FBS opponents. There's efficiency working in Torrey's favor. There is volume working in Torrey's favor. It is a situation where you can target him with confidence over 88.5 rushing yards. But that will do it for us. Those are the 4 prize picks, 4 up, 4 down. We will be back again for the Saturday slate of games, so make sure to check that out. I'm Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section who your favorite prize picks play is, and we will catch you again next time.